Hello. Today we're going to be going through a series of 1v1 BBR engagements against one of my squadron mates, Sizzle. It's going to be best of three, 4 AMRAMs, and 2 AIM-9 mics. So let's jump right into round one. Alright, so our general strategy today is just going to be to get in very close with Sizzle. We're not going to go cold at all, not going to be turning away from him. Once we're close to him, we want to stay close. And at that point, we're just going to try to keep the tempo up and keep throwing missiles at him until one of us makes a mistake. We are going to try to give him a good first pass missile. Want that to be as deadly as possible. You can see we're in VSR mode, just starting to pick him up around 60 miles, pitching up for a shot. You can see it's dropping on and off, but do get the missile off right at 50 miles. So normally at this point, we're going to go into the crank and start thinking about defense once that missile's off the jet. But for this, I'm going to just continue flying straight level. Got a lot of energy up high. That energy is going to help us defend. But keeping straight and level is hopefully going to trick him on the timing of this missile. So just anything we can do to deny him information about when we've shot, how far it is, how deadly this missile is going to help us. At the same time, I'm zooming in, I'm trying to figure out, okay, is he changing his aspect? You can see there he's starting to pitch up and gain some altitude, so that likely means a shot coming out. And at that point, we're going to go ahead in the crank and start thinking about defense. In the meantime, he hasn't started his crank until pretty late here, and our missile's already crossed a lot of distance, and that it's been able to do in a straight line. So that missile, if it's having to go back and forth on people's crank, it's going to waste a lot of energy. Here it's still closing on Sizzle with about Mach 3 coming in fast. So he's going to drop his lock on me early. I'm going to slice it back to the right here. You can see the missile warning pops up. You can also see the 16 nails on the RWR. That's stale. You can tell because it's not moving around as I move. And the missile, I don't actually get a warning. So I've seen the secret cone, but it's not actually a threat to me at this point. We're just going to turn right in. Now for a second here, I consider keeping my radar off and trying to do a little trickeration and see if I can deny him info on exactly where I am. But we pick up his nails straight away. There's no point in playing games here. We're just going to get a missile off on him. Now we're going to dive at a very high angle, and the intent here is to either drive the missile into the ground or we're going to be able to notch it on our way to the deck. Now, this stage of the fight, we're really transitioning to just using the helmet-mounted sight. That's going to let us keep tally on him a lot easier in case we get into a merge scenario. And it's also just going to be a lot quicker than trying to fiddle around with the radar and get the elevation just right. As you close in, getting that elevation just right becomes more tricky. The helmet is extremely quick. We're able to drive Sizzle's last missile into the hill there, but here I make a little bit of a mistake. I accidentally shoot an AIM-9, have to switch over and then shoot an AIM-120, and lucky I do because Sizzle has a 120 on me as well, and they end up connecting in the air. I spot it pretty quick here, and I am right back in. At this point, you're thinking merge, right? If we're counting missiles, we're both down to just Fox 2s. I get one Fox 2 off, I'm in idle, I'm flaring, and despite the flares, we do manage to connect our missile with Sizzle. Probably he did not come out of gate early enough. Even still, a little lucky that with all those flares out, our missile was able to connect with the target, especially considering that was our last missile. But we managed to pull out a round one with a win. Jumping into round two here. So round one went pretty much how we hoped it would. We got it down to the deck, just forced a notch contest. It went even beyond the notch contest, and we were down to Fox 2s at the end. The one area where I'm thinking maybe we can change up and in round two is to maybe preserve our missile count a little better. And to do that, I'm thinking we can fake a first pass here, maybe get Sizzle to be conservative, over defend this, and then have an extra missile as we go into that notch fight on the deck. So we're going to fake a shot here, get into our crank and dive, and hopefully Sizzle's going to think that we've already made that shot around 40 miles. So you can see Sizzle's shot coming out probably around 35 miles here. We're going to do our typical defense. We're going to go to the left and then slice back to the right, run that missile out of energy, and then be ready to pick him up and get our first real shot at him. Again, trying to keep visual on where he is, checking his altitude. We can see him dropping altitude, so I'm going to go ahead and start my slice back. So there's the first missile warning. We're already in our slice back. This is not going to be super threatening. It's already down to Mach 2, you can see in the TAC view. Once you get it on your 3-9 line, if you see it start drifting aft and you're not maneuvering, that means the missile's more or less dead. It's not going to catch you. The bad news here is Sizzle has not fallen at all for our fake first pass and already has another missile on the way. So with that extra missile on the way, it is very dangerous for me to turn nose on him and get that missile off that we need on him to force him down to the deck into the fight we want. Instead, we're going to go into the defense, start thinking about this second missile, which is really the deadly one, and try to notch that one quickly. At this point, we're in a good spot on that second missile, so we've got to quickly get in, get our missile off on him, and then be ready to defend whatever's coming next. So unfortunately, a third missile was already on the way, and that one does end up connecting with us very shortly after we turn in to try to get our missile off, and with a predictable result there when you try to head on an AIM-120. Now, all is not lost in this round, because if our last missile did manage to connect, we can at least secure a trade. Okay, round 3. So last round, Sizzle did a great job recognizing that fake first pass, and from that point on, he just kept on a constant pressure of missiles on us. The one mistake at the end, maybe not thinking enough about defense, and that lets us secure the trade, but overall, he was still in dominant position that entire round. So our game plan this round is going to be to shoot a first pass missile and keep him honest there, and not let him just get right on us. PSR gives us a little bit of difficulty this time, and you can hear Sizzle's already locked us, and we're still not getting that brick. Just taking a minute, sometimes it does that. You can see we get him a little closer to 40 miles here to actually lock him, and at 42 miles we're going to get our missile off. And no funny business this time, we're just going to go right into the crank. So now Sizzle's getting his missile off. A little bit of a delay there, and that is, again, letting our missile close some of that distance initially, and it's going to have good energy when it catches him. And hopefully we're going to be able to be ahead in pace here as well, and be in our slice back when he has to drop lock on us. Starting our slice back here, and we're going to continue to maintain visual on him throughout the slice back. And we do get a launch warning, so we're going to have to give an honest defense of this missile, putting it on our 3-9 line and then tracking it to start drifting aft. You can see our missile getting very close to Sizzle here. It's got barely enough energy and does manage to connect. A little bit early on that recommit there, but that's why you shoot these first pass missiles and keep people honest. And that's going to put us up, I guess, 2.5 to 0.5. Either way, that is going to be enough for the win. Hey, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you have anything you would have done different, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more. Thank you to Sizzle for participating in this. And if this is the kind of thing that appeals to you, then you should really look into joining a squadron. It's a ton of fun. But that's it for me, and I will see you in the next one.